It's that time of year. We are in Flipmas. Another quarterback has flipped from his original commitment. Three-star consensus quarterback Kevin Sperry, who was committed to Oklahoma, has flipped to Florida State. Let's talk about what it means for the Noles right after the stinger. If you like what we're doing here at Campus to Canton, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button so we can continue to spread the good word of college fantasy football to the masses. So, Kevin Sperry has flipped his commitment from Oklahoma to Florida State. The Denton Geyer quarterback stands at 6'1", 200 pounds. So, very wide rankings here in the industry consensus for him. He is a 3-star for On3 and 24/7 Sports. On3 has him as QB 41. 24/7 Sports has him as QB 46, where ESPN and Rivals both have him as a 5-star. ESPN has him as QB 11. Rivals has him as QB 12. So a little bit all over the place with him, but 2 very productive years at one of the better high schools in all of Texas. Denton Geyer has produced a lot of high-name college players who've gone on and been very successful in college and gone on into the NFL. He has passed for over 2,000 yards over the past 2 seasons. He ran for 600 yards this year, 500 yards last year, 300-yard games, 2 touchdowns this past year as a senior, and as a junior, he had 11 rushing touchdowns. Moving back over to the passing side of things, in his senior year, he had a 21-7 touchdown to interception ratio, and as a junior, 31-4 touchdown to interception ratio. So for Kevin Sperry, I mean, he is a very good athlete. He can run the ball. We have him tracked here at 20.4 miles per hour, which is fairly good for a quarterback, and a very good arm velo. So we track as well how hard and fast these quarterbacks can throw the ball. The high end of the scale, you were talking about Josh Allen at a 62. Middling pack of the guys are around the 54 to 56 range, which is what Kevin Sperry falls into. He falls into the 54 range. So if you're looking for a comp for him, in my opinion, if you guys can remember what Matt Corral was at Ole Miss, that is what I view from Kevin Sperry. Can run, will use his legs. I think he's got a little bit of a weird throwing motion. And he does tend to throw off platform more often than I'd like. There's a lot of times he'll get into the backfield in the pocket and have plenty of time, and wide receivers open. He'll have time to kind of complete the throw with what you would like to see in following through, and he throws off his back foot. He'll throw off platform when not needed. I do think that he loses some of his velocity the further down the field he throws. Now, the velocity is really there in the short and intermediate parts of the field. And he has shown the ability to throw with some touch, but accuracy has been okay, not the best. His best year was 68% as a junior. This past year took a massive step back and only 56% completion percentage. And you can kind of see that when you watch the games. Sometimes he overthrows his wide receivers, doesn't do a good job of leading his wide receivers, throws it into the incorrect positions at times, tries to lead a wide receiver down the field. Maybe you should hit him in the back shoulder. So some of that needs to be improved going into the next level. What makes this even more interesting is the flip to Florida State. Obviously, Florida State is having a rough year this year. They were hoping DJU was going to be able to come in and reproduce what Jordan Travis was able to do. He just wasn't able to get it done. Injuries to the offensive line, poor offensive line play, poor play from DJU. Then they go to Brock Glenn, has not been much better. They also went to true freshman quarterback Luke Kromenhoek, who I think is a very good quarterback. They just haven't been able to get it together. They have a very interesting wide receiver room. Overall, Malik Benson, who is a transfer from JUCO, he will be out of eligibility, so he will have to move on, as will Ketron Portier and Darian Williamson. However, they still do have Jalen Brown there and Hakeem Williams. Hakeem Williams is an elite athlete, was a little bit of a raw wide receiver coming into college, but has the intangibles to be a very special player. I just don't know that Kevin Sperry is going to be the quarterback to kind of get Florida State out of this. Now, maybe I'm leaning too much into my prize here because I do think they have, again, Luke Kromenhoek, who's a true freshman on the roster. I think he's just as an equal athlete and, in my opinion, just a better quarterback overall. But it is an interesting thing that they decided to go in and flip Kevin Sperry. Maybe Mike Norvell and he's going to have a whole new staff as they've let everybody go at this point. But maybe he just doesn't believe in Luke Kromenhoek and Brock Glenn, so he went and got into the recruiting class to get Kevin Sperry and flipped him. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Florida State last year. Obviously, Mike Norvell has a fairly good track record for the most part of going into the transfer portal and bringing in good players and usually having his teams in contention. He did that at Memphis, and for the most part has been fairly good at Florida State. He has had a couple of down years, and obviously this one being one of the worst. We'll see if Kevin Sperry is able to come in and kind of flip that around. What do you think, Florida State fans? Do you think you already had the answer on your roster in Luke Kromenhoek or Brock Glenn, or are you excited about the flip of the 3-star Kevin Sperry and think he could be the future? Let me know what you guys think is going to happen for your Noles in 2025, and we will catch you guys again soon.